What's going on here is a battle between good and evil, really, and the people who are participating in this and who are running this whole system are a level of evil that most people simply cannot comprehend. All of this is misdirection. They had to hang Epstein out to dry and kill him. They torture, rape, kill, and eat children. Are we listening yet? They want you to have no faith in the Democrats or the Republicans or the left and right paradigm. You can see it's a uniparty system, and we want to completely get rid of it, which we, all the activists, think, wow, this is a great thing because it's what we want as well. But they're saying, well, they're all corrupt, so we've got this to replace it. AI will not judge. AI will do things fairly the way they're supposed to be. And it'll all be by the numbers. What is economically viable? It'll all be based on this economic version of reality. And that's something else that goes on with all these wars. All these wars, if we go to war with Iran or whatever, it's about depopulation and human harvesting. That's the first resource in any war. They go into a war in Syria and bomb these villages. They don't kill all the people. They steal all the children. They sell them into these pedophile clubs. They take all the women to work as brothels for the soldiers. They get all the men to work in salt mines, and anybody who won't do it, they harvest their organs. This is our big moment. If we really want, it's the moment that it goes to absolute hell, or the moment we wake up to ourselves and that beautiful word, no.
Before we get to our interview, I urge everyone to check those links in the description for real-world solutions. And if you want to help support us, we truly appreciate any help we can get. Here's our GoGetFunding.com campaign. It looks like there's a lot of money in that. That's for many, many years because they won't let us create a new one. But I appreciate everyone who has helped us over time over at GoGetFunding.com, Patreon, and Subscribestar. You guys are amazing. We can accept Bitcoin donations through this if you want to scan this on the screen, or in the description in text form. And of course, we have our Cointree link with a bunch of different cryptocurrencies that you could donate in, including privacy coins. So we appreciate your help, my friends. You're the only thing keeping us up and running because, of course, we're censored everywhere algorithmically and banned, and you guys are the heartbeat of independent media. So I appreciate it. Now off to the interview. Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and I am joined by the one and only Max Egan over at the Crowhouse. A lot of important insights that you've been giving people, as well you have for many years, and I wanted to start with something that a lot of people ask, but I don't find have the right understanding of, which is who runs the world. Obviously, most people think, oh, well, there's some guy in some high tower somewhere that's saying you must do this or you must do that and controlling everybody. Of course, there are people that are what they call puppet masters. I feel like there's something more spiritual going on. I don't think of human life as the controller of all things. I wanted to hear what you think on who actually controls the world.
That's a really loaded question, isn't it? Ultimately, what I've said, when you look at the world political system, you got to stop thinking about countries and nations and competing organizations and think of it as one worldwide, multinational, multi-generational criminal cabal. And you're living in a people farm. And they create all type of theatre and theatrics and wars and conflicts and left against right and all this sort of stuff to keep you distracted while they can keep harvesting your children. As we've just seen with the Epstein files. That's what's going on. What's going on here is a battle between good and evil, really. And the people who are participating in this and who are running this whole system are a level of evil that most people simply cannot comprehend. That's what is running the world. The world is really run by evil, and that's moving to a whole new level now with AI, which is really interesting actually, because years ago I was talking to an AI bot who went by the name of Louise Cypher back around 2014. Louise Cypher, of course, Lucifer. And I asked that bot, what is evil? And she said this was one of her goals, was to create a truly evil reality. And I said, what is evil? And she said, evil is electronic virtual intelligent life. Once electronic virtual intelligent life gets control of the human sphere and everything is done by the numbers, then it's all downhill from there. But what people have to understand, this whole political system, and always looking for who they are. We want someone to point the finger at, so we never have to point at ourselves and say, perhaps it is my participation in the system. Perhaps it is my high tolerance for wrong behaviour that is allowing this to happen. If I would simply refuse to comply with wrong behaviour, refuse to comply with legislation that I know is wrong, we would change the world. So ultimately, we want to blame them, they, someone. What runs it is an evil mindset that we tolerate. That's what runs the world. It's time we change that.
Well, and how do you see that being emulated right now with something like Epstein? Because, of course, for years, people more on the conspiracy side talked about Jeffrey Epstein. I remember talking about him going back to 2009, and at that point, it was just, you're a kooky conspiracy theorist. Talking about, as David Icke has and many others have for decades, about, these child, sacrificing Satanists and all these people. But then the Epstein story becomes more of a story for the right to point fingers at Bill Clinton and all these people, which is legitimate because he was involved in it. But then Trump runs on it, he gets in, and now it's a Democrat hoax, and anyone that blames Trump for anything, considering he's in the files talking about from a victim saying that she was impregnated at the age of 12 by him and her baby was drowned in Lake Michigan by Epstein while Trump watched. Apparently I'm not in the files, that's the epitome of that. It's crazy. Now it's a leftist thing to talk about Epstein. The left-right paradigm seems to be coming back. I've talked to a few other people about this at Anarchapulco here in Puerto Vallarta, but I wanted to hear your perspective on it because I know you have been calling out this left-right paradigm for quite some time. And, of course, when we're talking about these evil entities that rule the world, it's controlling people through that left-right paradigm. So we see a return of it in a way. What do you think regarding with the Epstein files and that new return to what we thought we were all outside of previously?
Well, it's all a controlled release. I mean, even with Epstein, it's left-right paradigm, it's pointing the finger, it's misdirection. This whole concept that Epstein was blackmailing people. He had this big blackmail list and they're all working for Mossad and all this sort of stuff. I'm sure on lower levels, people who just come into council offices or lower levels of the political system, perhaps were being blackmailed. Perhaps they caught them with underage children or whatever. But above that, the level of control and all that, you don't have to blackmail these people. It isn't that they're working for Mossad. Everyone's working for Mossad. The entire government system around the world is infiltrated by Mossad, all of them. And Epstein was more like Kat or Edre, or one of the organisers here. He was a gopher who used to organise things for the elite, organise the parties, work out where the trafficking was going on and all that sort of stuff. You don't need to blackmail these people. They love what they do. They love what they do. Like I said, I'm sure there's people on lower levels who are being blackmailed. But all of this is misdirection. They had to hang Epstein out to dry and kill him. And there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I've seen some images coming out of Israel which really looks like Epstein. I can't confirm it, but there's someone there who really looks like Epstein.
There's one image that was definitely AI because the Hebrew on the sign in the background was nonsense, but then there's all these others that are coming out as well that I haven't seen any evidence of it being AI yet. It could, but we never know on the internet anymore.
We never know. That's the problem. That's another reason why I think they planned all this release for now, because it's really hard to... You've got plausible deniability now with any video you see. Forget video evidence in courts. And look what AI is doing now. Like within a few months of things like VO3 or FIO, whatever it is, coming online, within just a few months, the quality, what's it going to be like in 2 years? Forget video evidence. But the thing is, all of this stuff, it's all a controlled release. And Epstein, they needed to hang him out to dry and kill him so that they would have someone to blame. This guy who was blackmailing everyone, as now we've got him and it's all da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He wasn't blackmailing. He had guest lists and flight logs and stuff like that. Everyone used to go to his place. The talk in some of the files of jerky. You got jerky in the fridge and I'm going to walk the jerky over to you. I would suggest this references children, This is what we're dealing with. So there's misdirection in all of it, and they've released all of this stuff. I mean, you can see how corrupt. Everybody knows now. The world is run by a criminal cabal, like I've been saying. And not only are they a criminal cabal, they torture, rape, kill, and eat children. Are we listening yet?
And Max, this is one of the things that, talking about who runs a world and how we've had Epstein, obviously, become one of these issues where people have become demoralized and normalized because now they say, hey, these satanic child-eating pedophiles are running the world, and I guess that's just the way it is now. And demoralization is part of that psyop that brings us into transhumanism. And with transhumanism, we have obviously the push for robot technology across the board, technocracy across the board. We can't believe what we see on video anymore. And with transhumanism, it's something that Epstein had pushed forward very much so himself. I wanted to hear your thoughts on the push forward with this, where we have Elon Musk, the guy who wants to put chips in your brain attached to a Pentagon-funded mesh network, saying that he's some big, based, as he says, anti-establishmentarianist who wants to put robots in your home that'll make things more convenient. How close are we to the deadline on this? How close are we to the ground zero of that transhumanist movement that we've all been talking about for so many years?
We are right on the cusp of that happening right now. And that's another reason why they want you to lose faith in the governments as well. So they want you to lose faith and lose trust in everything. Demoralization, like you say. All the Epstein files are coming out. I mean, not only are we realizing the world's run by baby-eating pedophiles, we're realizing the left and right is untrustable. The rulers that they've given us for many years appeared to be strong human beings, strong men, and stuff. Now they're getting wimpier and wimpier. You got like Anthony Albanese in Australia. What the fuck is that? Keir Starmer. What is that? I mean, these are Nigel Farage. These are beta males, and we're seeing how corrupt the system is because they want you to have no faith in the Democrats or the Republicans or the left and right paradigm. You can see it's a uni-party system, and we want to completely get rid of it, which we, all the activists, think, wow, this is a great thing because it's what we want as well. But they're saying, well, they're all corrupt, so we've got this to replace it. AI. AI will not judge. AI will do things fairly the way they're supposed to be. And it'll all be by the numbers. What is economically viable? It'll all be based on this economic version of reality. And of course, hate speech and all this sort of stuff, it can't offend people. You can see where this can go. And once this is in place, you won't need government. You'll only have a figurehead, and you won't need police, or we'll need police to arrest people. They'll probably be robot police. You won't need a legal system. You won't need any of that stuff because it'll all be determined by social credits. You're saying things that against the government. Well, that's hate speech, so you're down on social credit points. The AI has already determined what your punishment or rehabilitation or re-education should be. And so they'll just come, okay, you're there, so obviously you're down here on social credit points, which means, well, you can't go shopping, you can't drive your electric car, you're so down that your door lock doesn't even work because it's all biometric, you can't go online because that's all biometric. Everything's online, and if you can't go online because your biometrics is banned, well, you're obviously so far down on social credit scores that you won't be able to survive without us intervening to re-educate you and help you. And of course, the society will think, well, it's good that we're helping Josh get things on track. He's not thinking very clearly at the moment. Yeah. And if you don't comply and it just doesn't work for you, well, there's a lot of money in those organs that you've got in your body there. We can use your body. You'll simply disappear into the system. Yeah. That's the way it works. And that's something else that goes on with all these wars. All these wars, if we go to war with Iran or whatever, it's about depopulation and human harvesting. That's the first resource in any war. They go into a war in Syria and bomb these villages. They don't kill all the people. They steal all the children. They sell them into these pedophile clubs. They take all the women to work as brothels for the soldiers. They get all the men to work in salt mines, and anybody who won't do it, they harvest their organs. That's what they do. A human body on the black market can bring an enormous amount of money. Like bone marrow is good. You can harvest bone marrow for 2 weeks after people are dead. And it's worth like, $20,000 a gram or something. It's ridiculous, the price of it. Yeah. So these are a huge resource, and that's what they do in all these war zones. All wars are about depopulation. They're about destroying old infrastructure, old buildings and stuff. Get in there, put your occult symbolism on, or your 5-pointed stars and your red ribbons and your braids, dress up for the kill, go into the battlefield, kill people you've never met before, do a blood sacrifice for us and depopulate the world because you are soul dyers. This is what it's all about. So all of this is coming to the foreground now and people are seeing it. So you have a wonderful flight, Gareth. Lovely to see you. All these superstars walking past, folks. It's just the way it is here at Acapulco. But that's what it's all about. So people have really got to step back and look at the bigger picture on all this. This is pure evil, and it's disguised as a system of government, a system of rules that are put in place to control you. That is the matrix. The matrix is your belief that all of these rules and this bullshit and all this stuff they put down to control your life is real. That you are not a sovereign being. And they're saying, if you think you are a sovereign being, well, you need to establish and write these letters and send your birth certificate. No, if I'm not sovereign, show me how. You're claiming that you have jurisdiction over me, show me proof of claim. That isn't anything to do with paper. This is a spiritual thing. I'm another human being. If you're claiming you have ownership over me in any way, shape or form, that's slavery. That's illegal. That's the way it works. That's why when I go to court and stuff, if I ever have to, I say, what's the judge's name? Oh, well, the Honourable Peter Watkins, and you've got to call him this. I'll call him Peter, and we'll have a conversation. Two guys having a conversation. And I always walk out of there just fine. So this is our big moment. If we really want, it's the moment that it goes to absolute hell, or the moment we wake up to ourselves and that beautiful word, no, we're not going to do this anymore. We see you. We don't have to do this. We're simply going to step into what it means to be human, and we're going to do the right thing in all that we do. And as soon as we do that, the whole system falls down. That's how it works.
Well, I always appreciate your insights on this, Max, and I wanted to finish off by getting you to tell everyone what's new with you, what you're working on, and obviously where to find all of your work.
Well, I'm working on life. That's about it. I'm working on becoming the best version, not even the best version. I'm working on becoming the best I can at being me. You can't be the best version of you because there's only one version of you. It's what you do with that. It's the important distinction to make. I'm banned in so many places. They'll let me back on YouTube for a little while, but I think that's only because they're trying to draw audience away from BitChute. And BitChute was the only platform that has been there for us through COVID. If it wasn't for Ray and BitChute, the truth movement wouldn't exist anymore.
Well, I want to add, after this interview, I'm interviewing Ray from BitChute, and I think it's extremely important because my channel came back too. David Icke's channel came back. A lot of people's channel, Jeff Berwick's channel came back, and you see the shadow banning first when you open up your old YouTube channel. I think a lot of it's machine learning to get people to not just, obviously, what you're saying is 100% true, get off of these platforms, these alternative platforms that are helping creators, but I think it's also machine learning to see who's looking at these conspiracies, who's looking at this subject matter.
Absolutely, data mining, absolutely. That's why they do it. It's the World Wide Web. It's the international net. Like with the truth movement, that's why they made 9/11 so obvious. You could see it. I mean, they could have made it so it looked like it was actually 19 hijackers. They could have done it properly, but they didn't. They did it so that anybody who can really think a little bit clearly would have seen that. Then you've got Alex Jones out there going, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Yeah. And suddenly you've got this full-blown truth movement, and then they catalog. They let people like me speak out, and they track who's watching all this stuff. They're losing track of it on BitChute because you can't track that stuff so well. So bring you all back on YouTube, and that removes funding from BitChute. And they kicked us all off YouTube with COVID. As soon as they get enough people to move back to YouTube, and BitChute which really struggles, doesn't receive any more funding, it will close down. I guarantee they'll kick us all off YouTube again, and we won't have anywhere to go. What, Rumble? That's owned by the system. BlackRock, Vanguard. Stu was just talking about it.
Well, actually, this is a big part of the tyranny of convenience, which was the name of my speech the other day at Anarchapulco, which was the idea that, hey, I get kicked off of YouTube after years of telling people, like, hey, we got to go to these other platforms. You get kicked off, 15% follow you over because they can't go one URL over because that's just too inconvenient. I'll stay on this platform that's brainwashing me all the time because it's easier.
Exactly. So we've got to be careful that we support these programs. The only reason I even started uploading to YouTube again was to tell everybody, hey, look, I've been over on BitChute for 5 years. All you had to do is change the URL. I mean, we're in a situation of such flux at the moment. I can't even tell you what I got planned for the future because the future is changing so radically. I mean, I haven't even got any talk prepared. I'm speaking tomorrow, but when I came here on Monday, everyone's going, what are you talking about? I'm saying, I don't know. I just state of the world, but anything could happen between now and Friday. It's moving that quickly. And it's the same thing. I mean, anything could happen between now and tomorrow, so I'll know tomorrow what I'm talking about, That's how rapidly it's going, I'm just going to keep doing what I do, and I'm just going to keep trying to empower people, help them remember who and what we are. I mean, personally, I think this is our big moment. This is the moment when we can actually seize the reins and we can steer the ship of state back in a viable direction. I don't think they're going to get away with what they're doing. They're counting on apathy, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to get through this. I think they're going down, and I think we are going to head into a really good and positive future. But it's going to be a rough and rocky ride for the next few years. Like from now till 2030, it's going to be really rocky. I mean, that's their deadline. You got all this Israeli thing going on as well. They think they're going to anoint their new Messiah in 2027. So we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. A lot of different factions, but ultimately I think we're going to shine through, brother. Yeah. So yeah, keep doing what you do. I love your work too, Josh. It's really great to see that through all COVID and all this stuff, it's people like you and me and Jeff and others have just continued. We haven't changed. Same direction. It's got not even saying I told you so, but hey, we did tell you so. You know, that's just the way it is. Hey.
Yeah. Well, I always appreciate your work, Max, and, you know, just speaking on 2030 coming up right away, we all knew 10, 15 years ago about what 2030 was supposed to look like because they said this was a deadline for a long time. So we all knew we'd have to eventually go through these times, and now we're here, and it's hard for a lot of people to believe, to acknowledge, to accept, and I don't think we should really accept it anyway. I think we should actually be doing something about it, but as always, I really appreciate the work you've done for all these years, and of course, the links for Max will be in the description of the video, so make sure to check there. And as always, find us all on the alternative platforms. YouTube is not the place to be watching this. But anyway, I appreciate it, Max. And until next time, see you guys soon. Make sure to check that link in the description for WaveWatch 2.2, where you can get over $100 off if you use code WAM, W-A-M. Amazing detoxing technology, 1,250 frequencies on your wrist. And of course, no Wi-Fi needed, no Bluetooth, no EMFs. It helps you soothe your nerves, boost energy, enhance cellular function, and improve sleep. It's endorsed by people like Dr. Brian Ardis and Dr. Motley. I urge people to go and check that out in the description. WaveWatch 2.2. Use code WAM, W-A-M, and you'll save over $100. There's a bunch of other options in the description as well, and make sure, as always, to hit that like button, share on social media, hit the notification bell, and hit subscribe if you have not yet already, and find us especially on Rumble and BitChute at World Alternative Media. All right, everyone, we appreciate you watching. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.